Good morning, students. Today we will continue with the fourth lesson, that is lemon yellow and fig. So you can take page 33, the second paragraph. And that brought to my mind a trick which had been played recently upon a fellow shopkeeper. A young lady had gone to his shop early one morning and had given him a new 100 rupee note, which he had changed for her. Soon after she had gone out, another lady, her accomplice, had gone into the shop, bought one or two little things, and coolly demanded her change. Now, what happened was, he thought of an incident. What had happened with another shopkeeper? With the another shopkeeper, what was happened was that a lady had brought some saris. She gave some money, and the shopkeeper had kept the money in the cash box. Then another lady came, brought the saris, and started to demand for a change money without even paying the shopkeeper. But she had paid no money, and when the shopkeeper pointed out her mistake, she had called in a policeman and complained that she had just given a 100 rupee note to the shopkeeper, which he had put in his cash box, and that he refused to give her the change. Oh, yes, she knew the number of the note, and right enough, the number tallied with that of the note in the cash box. There was little that the shopkeeper could do about it except hand the note over to her. It all seemed to fit. It was a dirty trick, but it had worked, and now they seemed to be trying it out on me. Now he was thinking how they had tricked that man, the shopkeeper. The lady had called the police and told them that this number notes are there in the cash box and that I have given. Now the shopkeeper had nothing to do but give away the money to her. So this salesman was thinking that these two ladies are trying to do the same trick on him. Now let's read the last paragraph of this speech. It gave me a shock to think that anyone as pretty as my first customer should be involved in this kind of business. But this was no time to be worrying about it. I had to be quick if I was not going to be caught out. Now, this salesman was thinking that the previous lady was beautiful and she shouldn't be doing such things. But now, this is not a time to think of all these, but I need to take a precaution. Excuse me a moment, I told the lady who was looking intently at the fig-colored saris. I have a few more in the same shade. I will get them for you. Now he tells the lady that there are some more saris, but not here in the shop, so he will get it for her. The cash box was on the table in the corner, hidden from her view by a tall shelf. I opened it and took out the 100 rupee note given to me by the lady who had come earlier. Now, what did the salesman do? He took out the 100 rupee note from the cash box without showing the lady. I put it in an envelope and addressed the envelope to my brother, who walked in a shop hardly a couple of 100 yards away, and calling the boy from the next shop, who did occasionally jobs for me, I casually handed him the envelope. Please take this to Kirpa Ram's shop and give it to my brother, I told him. Now, what the shopkeeper did was he called a young boy from the next shop who did a small job for him and gave him the envelope and to put the money and said that to give it to his brother who walks nearby. Then, pleased with myself and smiling, I took 3 of those fig-colored saris from another rack and went back to my customer. I couldn't have been away from her for more than a minute. Now he went and showed some more saris to her, that these are the fresh stocks. She liked those saris a lot. She kept on looking at 2 of them as though she couldn't make up her mind which one she liked better. I could scarcely keep myself from grinning at her play acting. Why don't you buy both? They should suit you equally well, I said to her. Yes, I think I will do that, she said with a broad smile. Now the lady is confused between the 2 saris, and the shopkeeper advises her, why don't you take both the saris? And he was surprised to see that how well the lady was acting. So the lady said that, okay, yes, I will take both the saris. She took both the saris and paid for them 90 rupees. She paid it all in 10-rupee notes. I looked at the notes carefully. I wondered if this was a new angle to the old trick. But there was nothing wrong with the notes. It was clear that I had judged her wrongly. Now the lady gave him 90 rupees change very nicely, and the salesman was a little surprised. He was doubting that maybe this is a new trick what they are trying to trick on him. But he checked the notes and it was perfectly fine. I felt a little ashamed of myself, but I had reason to be pleased with myself too. I had made 2 good sales within half an hour of opening, and as soon as the boy returned, I sent him for a cup of coffee. Now the salesman was happy that he had done a good job. A sale today with 3 saris, and as soon as the boy returns, he sends for a cup of tea. And then I saw Mr. Ratnam coming towards the shop. I didn't even know he was in Bombay. He lives in Bangalore and looks after the looms. He was looking pleased as punch as he entered the shop. And when he had sat down, I told him how well the shop was running and that more stocks would be needed almost immediately. So now, as this lady went, Mr. Ratnam entered the shop, and the salesman did not even know that he was not prepared that Mr. Ratnam is here in Bombay, because he usually lives in Bangalore. So he was little surprised. And when he started giving him a report that everything is going on well, good, and now he recently need the fresh stocks because the sales are going on good. You can have all the stocks you want, my boy, said he. That is what the shop is here for, to sell as much as we can. It is just that I wanted to make sure that I was not going to be let down like I was by your predecessor. Now he says, okay, you can have a new stocks as much as you want, but the only thing is that I will confirm that I'll not let will not be let down by you like the previous salesman that I had hired before you. I was rather hurt that he should be still doubtful of my honesty. I said, I was hoping you would be sure of me by now, sir. Now, the salesman says that I was doubting that by now, sir, you must have been sure of my honesty. In business, in this sort of business, one can never take anything for granted, he said. There are so many temptations. What the last man used to do was to show that he sold fewer saris than he actually did and pocket the difference. It could never be found out unless there was a stock checking. Now, Mr. Ratnam says that this is a business, and in business, it is very difficult to trust anybody. Even in the previous salesman, also, it was very difficult to trust him because what he did is he used to sell the saris and he could not be caught unless and until the checking of the stock was done. He used to sell the saris and the difference money he used to keep in his pocket. So unless and until there was a stock checking, he could not be caught. So he came for a surprise stock checking. I see, I said. I just wanted to check the stocks before sending you any more. Just a formality, you know. You don't mind, do you? Now, Mr. Ratnam says that I just wanted to check the previous stocks before sending you for more fresh stocks. It was nice of him to ask me if I minded, but of course I didn't mind. Now he feels relaxed as the owner is asking whether he would feel bad about it, checking the stock. For most of the next hour, he did a sort of cursory stock checking. Now, for some time, they were doing the stock checking. In fact, I did most of the actual checking, and if I had needed to, I could have easily given Mr. Ratnam fictitious figure to I was satisfied that all the stock was absolutely correct to the last choly piece. Now the shopkeeper is saying that he could have given a long figure, but he himself helped Mr. Ratnam to check the stock, and each and every choly pieces was perfectly okay. However, even before I had quite finished counting, Mr. Ratnam called out to me. I think that will do, he said. I am entirely satisfied with you. As soon as I get back, I will send you more pieces, and from next month you had better take us on someone to assist you, a little boy to do the running. Now, Mr. Ratnam says that, okay, that's okay, I am okay with everything, everything is fine, and I'll send you the fresh stocks. And from next week, you hire a small boy who can assist you, helping you to run here and there. Mr. Ratnam paused for a moment and gave me a broad smile. Then he said, I am particularly pleased with your way of dealing with customers. I wanted to be personally satisfied about that. So this morning I sent my daughter and sister to make one or two odd purchases. It seems that although you had just opened the shop, you managed to change a 100-rupee note for my daughter. There is nothing more annoying than being kept waiting for change. I also liked the way you sold my sister two saris when she had come with the idea of buying only one. They were full of praise for you. Now, let us just check the cash box and I will have done with you. A mere formality, you know. You couldn't be having much more in it than your 100 rupees and what my daughter and sister paid. Now, Mr. Ratnam says, I just wanted to test you, and so he sent his daughter and his sister to test him, and they were very happy. They were praising. Then he says, my daughter was the first customer and she gave you 100-rupee note and you gave her the change. You did not make her wait for the change. And even my sister came with a mind to buy one sari and you sold her two saris. It was really very happy to hear. And now let me check the cash box. Now in your cash box you should have the amount what my sister had given you, the 100-rupee note. Otherwise you are okay with it. I'm sure my heart skipped a beat. It suddenly dawned upon me that there was a whole 100 rupees missing from the box, and Mr. Ratnam noticed it too as soon as he snapped the lid open. Now the salesman was little afraid because the note was missing. He had sent it to his brother. As soon as Mr. Ratnam opened the cash box, he understood that the money was missing. And that was how I lost my job. I didn't even try to explain. I just stared blankly at him and at the box alternately. I was sure that no explanation I could give would have convinced him. He did not have that sort of mind. What he recognized was the cold fact that the 100 rupees was missing from the box. Anyway, I couldn't tell him that I had taken his daughter and his sister for a pair of confidence trickers, if that is the word. Now, he says that he could not even tell Mr. Ratnam that he had taken his daughter and sister as a coincidence trickers. Suspected his daughter and sister as trickers who came to trick him. He shook his head from side to side and he looked sad when he said to me, and you have such an honest face. Of course, I am honest, but I am out of work, and if you know of anyone who needs a keen young salesman. Now Mr. Ratnam is saying that I do not know, I can't believe it, but really you have an honest face. And the salesman thinks to himself that yes, I'm honest, but the only thing is that I do not have words to explain. And now he is again on the road looking for a job of a salesman. So with this, we end the chapter.